All right, y'all. So look, I don't know what's going on. I got like a team of gardeners in my yard right now making the most noise possible. So if you hear some like buzzing in the background, it's because I literally got like 20 gardeners in my yard going crazy. I don't know. It's like they normally only send like 2 people, but I don't know. Today must be like, training day or something. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, let's talk about this Maverick City, Quavo, Sam Smith. Listen, I already talked about this, but I don't think I did a good enough job of completely articulating my complete thoughts on this situation. So hopefully I can take another attempt at that, because what's happening is I'm getting a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but I'm getting a good amount of people who are reaching out to me who are giving me some pushback on my stance initially on this situation. And I want to address that. And let me just say this. I welcome and I appreciate all the pushback and all the feedback that you guys are giving me on this situation. I appreciate that, because I would much rather have the truth than think that I'm right in my own understanding, if that makes sense. I'm not the type of dude who's going to sit here and die on my sword. Like, I'd rather know what the truth is. I don't care about, being right. I'd rather have the truth. So let's talk about this situation and let's break this down. Because Maverick City, they did put out a statement, and I don't know if you have seen this, but they put out a press release explaining specifically the performance with Quavo, and we're gonna break this down step by step. All right. So this is what Maverick City said. They said in the performance, Maverick City Music aimed to raise awareness around gun violence and keeping the faith during troubled times. A press release announcing the performance read. So their intent behind the performance with Quavo was to raise awareness around gun violence, because Takeoff lost his life due to gun violence. And their other objective was to raise awareness around what it means to keep the faith during troubled times. And this confirms to me a couple things that I was already thinking, and you've probably been thinking this as well. And that's the fact that, them being at the Grammys, it's an opportunity for them to reach the lost. It's an opportunity for them to reach a new audience who may not know Jesus, who may not know the gospel, who may not know these things, or maybe doesn't want to know these things, or maybe just hasn't been exposed to it enough. It's an opportunity for them to reach those people and potentially bring those people closer to God through their music. And maybe through the music, they can have more of an interest or more of an intrigue around potentially getting to know God. But the thing that I keep seeing is that Maverick City is fellowshipping with darkness. Ephesians 5, verse 11, have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness. That's the thing that I keep seeing, is that Maverick City is fellowshipping with darkness. And Nick, you need to call it out. You need to expose them, because you can't live for the world and live for God. It doesn't work like that. And I understand all of that. I understand that point of view. And let me just say this. Sam Smith's performance, and this has already been confirmed by CBS, and I made a video about this yesterday if you haven't seen it. They pretty much confirmed that performance was a ritual and that it was demonic. CBS tweeted out before the performance that they are ready to worship. They literally, and I made a video about this yesterday. Go watch it after you watch this one. But CBS said that they are literally ready to worship in reference to Sam Smith's performance. And then they quickly deleted that tweet. Now tell me why they would delete that tweet. Come on, y'all just giving it away. Y'all get it. Clearly that was some sort of satanic ritual, and you're giving it away. But I mean, we could already see that anyway. But here's what I was going to say. If Maverick City knew that that specific performance was going to be happening, a couple things needed to happen. Either number one, you really have a conversation of potentially not even showing up. Because at that point, it's like, all right, look, if we know that this is happening and that they're planning on doing this, let's not even show up. Let's not even show up. Because at that point, in my opinion, that is conforming to the darkness. It's the same thing as if like you have, if you're a Christian and if you're going to a gay wedding, the fact that you are there, your presence, in a sense, is confirming and approving of the behavior, because you saw the invitation. You knew it was a gay wedding. You knew what time it was, and you still showed up. So if they knew that that performance was going to be happening, I think there should have been a serious conversation as to whether or not their presence should even be there in the first place. Now, that's assuming if they knew. Now, I don't know if they knew or if they didn't know. Now, if you didn't know that this, and I'm talking from the perspective of Maverick City, if you did not know that Sam Smith was going to be doing that performance, and you found out as you got there, or you found out in real time in the audience, number one, if you found out before you got there, then it's kind of like, all right, look, y'all probably should have just waited in the back or something, or in the green room or something. Like, do not sit in that audience and absorb that performance and give your presence to that performance if you know that that was going to be taking place. If they weren't notified, and I don't know if they were in the crowd or not. I don't know. Maybe somebody can confirm and fact check this for me. I don't know if they were in the crowd, but if they were in the crowd for that performance, if it were me, I would have got up and left. If I had no prior indication or prior knowledge, if Sam Smith started getting on stage and doing all that, I would have gladly got up and left. So that's the number one thing that I want to say. But once again, I don't know if they were in the crowd or not. But let me just say this. In terms of them, and let me just try to put the Sam Smith stuff aside, because I don't have all the details. I don't have all the facts. Until I have all the details and all the facts of exactly how that went down and exactly what their knowledge was prior to it, and if they were even in the crowd or not, let me just put that aside for a second. All right? Bear with me. The fact that they were at the Grammys, the fact that they did a performance with Quavo, does that automatically assume that they are fellowshipping with darkness? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments right now. Does that automatically assume that they are fellowshipping with darkness? Now, what is the definition of fellowshipping? And I use Blue Letter Bible as well. Blue Letter Bible is an amazing tool because it actually gives you like the biblical definitions of certain words in the Bible. But just for the sake of keeping it simple, I just use Google. And if you Google the definition of fellowship, the number one result, it says friendly association, especially with people who share one's interests. Especially with people who share one's interests. Now, I want you to keep that in mind. And I want to read this verse to you as well. This is from 1 Peter chapter 2. This says, living godly lives in a pagan society. And let me just say this, because I know there's going to be some people who are watching this who are going to be upset that I'm reading from NIV. So this is NIV version. But let me just say, they're all translations anyway. Like, these are all translations, all right? They're all translations. But anyway, 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 11, it says, living godly lives in a pagan society. Dear friends, I urge you as foreigners and exiles to abstain from sinful desires, which wage war against your soul. Live such good lives among the pagans that though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day he visits us. Y'all understand, like, I'm sure most of y'all go to the grocery store. I'm sure most of y'all go to the gym. I'm sure most of y'all have gone to school. I'm sure most of y'all go to work, right? In all of those environments, the grocery store, school, gym, work, in all of those environments, you can't tell me that each and every person in those environments believe the same things that you believe. You can't tell me that each and every one of those people in those environments believe that Jesus is Lord, believe that Jesus is the Son of God, believe that Jesus came down, died on the cross to be the perfect atonement for our sins, and whosoever believes in Jesus shall have eternal life. You can't tell me that every individual that you come in contact with on a daily basis believes the same things that you believe. So let me ask you, when you're in these environments, are you fellowshipping with darkness? Because remember what we just said. The definition of fellowship, friendly association, especially with people who share one's interests. Are you fellowshipping with these people at the grocery store? Are you fellowshipping with darkness because you are shopping amongst people who do not believe the same things that you believe? Is Maverick City automatically fellowshipping with darkness because they were invited to the Grammys and they took an invitation to accept awards at the Grammys because of their talents and their success? Are they automatically fellowshipping with darkness? Now, like I said, if they had prior knowledge to what was taking place with Sam Smith in that performance, then that's a totally different conversation. But until that information is confirmed, I'm going to pump the brakes on that until that information is confirmed. But them being there, them performing with Quavo, although he's a secular artist, them being in that environment, I don't think that's justification for them to be under the automatic assumption that they're fellowshipping with darkness. Because the Bible already tells us that we are going to be living in pagan societies. The Bible already tells us that. But here's the difference. Live such good lives. Live such good lives among the pagans that though they accuse you of doing wrong, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day he visits us. We can live among and we're all called to be the light of this world, right? And the fact of the matter is, we live in enemy territory. Until Jesus comes back, until Jesus returns, we are living in enemy territory. But we are all called to be the light in the darkness. We are all called to be that. The issue arises when we start to conform and when we start to compromise our beliefs, when we start to compromise our faith, when we start to compromise our values in order to fit in with the darkness, in order to conform with the darkness. The issue arises when we start to value the things of this world as opposed to valuing and making the top priority our relationship with God. That's when the issue arises. But do we automatically have an indication to believe that Maverick City is on that side of things? That they are indeed valuing these golden statues, these literal golden statues that they received? They got 4 of them. They got 4 Grammys. Are we under the assumption that they are literally worshiping and valuing these golden statues above their relationship with God? Are we automatically assuming that because of what we saw? And like I said, do we know the full extent and every which way that God is directing their steps and every which way that God is using them in this season of their success? Do we know every which way that God is moving in that situation? Because even if Maverick City is able to share the gospel with one person at the Grammys, with one person, and cause them to think differently about it and cause them to look deeper into God, into Jesus in a new way that they've never been caused to look at it before, and that person ultimately is led towards Christ and is saved, is that not worth them being there? Or would you rather them not even show up at all? And I guess the thing that I'm trying to understand is, what is the line? Like, what is the line? Like, because here's the thing. We say that we want Christians to be successful. And we say that we want Christians to influence the world in order to draw them closer to God, right? So that salvation can be experienced by as many people as possible. But then when Christians get successful, and this could be in any industry, in any sector, this is not just limited to entertainment, but you could be a lawyer, a doctor, a dentist, a teacher, a daycare provider, an Uber driver. Like, you could be any one of those professions and beyond. We say that we want our Christians to be successful and have influence. But then when they get that success, and then when the world, specifically when the world starts to recognize Christians who are successful, then that becomes an issue. Then that becomes a problem. But I'm saying, what is the line? Like, what do you want us to do? Like, say, for example, hypothetically, and I'm sure this is not a surprise, but the chances of this happening is literally 0%. But let me break down this hypothetical. Let's say I made a song, right? I made a Christian song, a worship song, gospel, whatever you want to call it. Specifically, the mission of this song is to worship God. Let's say I made this song, I put it out, and it goes crazy. It explodes. It's number one on the charts, like on the mainstream charts. It's number one. And then I get a call from whoever. I don't know who does it. It's the Grammys or whoever. I get a call and they say, hey, Nick, you've been nominated for a Grammy for your song that you put out, Glorifying God. Would you assume that I'm automatically compromised because I show up to that event? Would you assume that I'm automatically compromised because now I'm in that environment with these quote unquote pagans, with these people who don't share the same beliefs? Would you assume that I'm automatically conforming? Because we can be the light in the darkness as we are called to be. And I think, like I said, the optics may not look good in terms of Maverick City performing with Quavo. But as I stated previously, I don't know if that was really for us anyway. It wasn't really for Christians. It was for people who don't know God to possibly have a chance at experiencing God through Maverick City in a new way that they might not have experienced had Maverick City not performed. That's my interpretation. And I'm sure y'all are going to give your opinion in the comments, and I welcome that, and I want you to. Like I said, the Sam Smith stuff is a totally different story. If we get news that comes out that says, hey, Maverick City knew exactly what was going to happen with the Sam Smith performance, and they still showed up, they still sat in the audience, then that's a totally different story. And here's another layer to this whole story. Just so y'all can see that I'm not just sitting here pandering, that I'm not just sitting here completely defending Maverick City. I think they should have absolutely spoke out against Sam Smith's performance. Even after the fact, They should be making a statement right now saying how sinful and how satanic that performance was. They should be saying that right now. I think that's exactly what they need to be doing. But hey, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see how it plays out. If that's something that they're not willing to do, and if that's something that they don't speak up on in the near future, then you'll probably see me making another video with a much different tone. But all I'm saying is at this point in time, let's just pump the brakes a little bit. Let's just pump them a little bit. I understand that we have an expectation of Maverick City to glorify God and to do the right thing and to make the right decisions. But let's just pump the brakes a little bit. All right. So, excuse me. Let me know what y'all think. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I missed. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. Get in the comments. Subscribe. 79% of y'all who watch these videos on my channel are not subscribed. And that's cool. I ain't tripping. But my thing is like, why not just subscribe if you're watching anyway? Just subscribe. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments. Like this video. I'm out.